If you want to help change the world, then you're in the right spot. This is Skull Babylon, and you're about to listen to episode 99 of Paradigm Shift Radio, which is another free-flow fractal community conversation in which myself and others from all over the world unite to share information and experiences to help collectively educate, inspire, change the way we think, and shift the paradigms of society to help make this reality a better place for the generations to come. In this episode, we talk more with our good buddy Alon about the recent Om Festival and the incredibly potent and simple techniques of free hugs. We invite others on as the conversation spirals out from there, sharing some other techniques to help plant seeds and reflecting a variety of other ideas about reiterating our relationship with reality and our ability as manifestors. Paradigm Shift Radio is a branch of ParadigmShiftCentral.com, and we invite and encourage anyone to get involved with this evolving community of shifters and seekers. Check out the main website, tune in for future episodes, build a paradigm shift community where you are, hack the matrix, and contribute to the reality that we are all co-creating together. Continue the shifty conversation where you are, enjoy the flow, and one love.
If you can dream something, then you can do it. As long as you do not align your actions with your dreams, you are not fulfilling your destiny. And maybe listening to this episode, listening to this show, listening to Paradigm Shift Radio is a part of your destiny. Because most definitely, it, like anything else in life, is a step towards a new and exciting direction. So thank you so much, everybody, for being tuned in to another exciting episode of Paradigm Shift Radio. This is your good buddy, Brendon, a.k.a. Skull the Wolf, a.k.a. Skull Babylon, here hosting, co-hosting, along with you, along with the community, to be able to help make another awesome, consciousness-shifting, co-created Paradigm Shift episode that we have here tonight. And if I can just get an 1111 from somebody in the live chat to make sure that things are sounding A-OK, we will be able to move forward with this. And actually got some good buddies who will be bringing on within the first minute of the show, and that's going to be our buddy Alon, and also a V who is with him. And those of you familiar, these are good buddies who traveled from Israel as part of Paradigm Shift Israel to be able to take part in what they are referring to as a love trip. And that's a cross-country tour across Canada where they are giving out free hugs and really just helping create new inspirational memes within culture based around gratitude and inspiration and the idea that love is the answer. So thank you so much for everybody tuning in. If I can just look for that 1111 from somebody in the live chat just so we can get that bounce back, get that echo to make sure that things are good. And I will be able to bring those guys on. But of course, thank you, Bonnie. There it is. Thank you, Colin. Thanks, guys. So with that under the belt, now I will say that for everybody tuning in to Paradigm Shift Radio who may be new to the program, that this episode tonight is a community call-in episode, which means that anybody can call in. So we're going to be talking about whatever Alon and the guys want to bring up at the start, but we encourage you to be able to bring maybe an idea, an experience, an insight, a question to the air that you want to be able to share with the global audience. And we'll be getting a bit of a round circle going along here, and we'll be able to free-flow fractal the conversation outwards and just kind of see where one thing leads, and to be able to bring you guys up to speed with all the awesome stuff that people are up to be able to help shift the paradigms where they are. So it looks like we do have confirmation. Barbara saying that things are breaking up on her end, but I think we got it A-OK from Alon, so I think Barbara's just a little bit of a glitch on her end, but it sounds like you guys just want to confirm for me that things aren't breaking up on your end, then we will be able to keep going along forward from here. So, of course, ParadigmShiftCentral.com is what you want to be able to check out for all of the consciousness shifting media that we've been putting up there over the past 5 years since we began this project, and there's over 2 years of Paradigm Shift Radio episodes that you can all find through the main website. And of course, there's so much awesome stuff that I want to be able to tell you about. I'll get into talking about the buttons a little bit later on. That's at least some of the stuff that I want to bring you guys up to speed on, to be able to share what things I myself have been up to, doing some superhero tactics on my end, using the free hugs and the shift buttons to be able to help unplug people from the matrix, as I often refer to it as, to be able to help get them thinking outside the box, but more so importantly, to be able to get them connected with a global community of people who generally are just interested in understanding their place within this reality and ultimately taking steps personally and globally towards being able to help make this world a better place. So that's technically what this show is about. It's about the expansion and evolution of consciousness. It's about encouraging open-mindedness and healthy living. So thank you so much for everybody who's a part of this. And of course, Facebook.com/Paradigm Shift Radio, and you can send a message there early if you want to get yourself in on the button draw, those of you who are familiar with that. So with that said, we're going to bring on our good buddy Alon, and of course you can check out Facebook.com/GoLoveTrip and also GoFundMe.com/GoLoveTrip for their information. So we're going to bring on Alon, and then from there I think we have another guest who we're going to bring on also who's in the queue. And, of course, encouraging anybody who wants to be on the air to call in now at this point. And, if you're new to Paradigm Shift Radio, don't feel shy. We encourage people to sort of, again, just help create this show. This is a community-created show, so even for anybody in the live chat, if you guys got questions, if you guys got topics, this is a good chance to sort of put those out there. But, again, encouraging people to call in. So, with that said, going to bring on Alon and Avi, and we shall see where the branches go from there. So, Alon, if you're ready, bring you on to Paradigm Shift Radio. Here we go.
Yes. Hello to you, friends.
Yo, man. What's up, brother?
Everything is amazing. And actually, I just went out of the door, and he says that he loves you all. So that's that.
Perfect. Right on, man. Well, man, I mean, there's a lot of stuff, like right now at this point, I will say, let's just sort of set things, not kill some time, but sort of just chit-chat, bring people up to speed as we wait for more callers to call in, and really encouraging people to call in. But as it is, man, like me and you, we've been up to some adventures. I mean, just so the people who are listening to this, you guys know that me and Alon have run into each other a couple times now, and one of them was when they were in London doing the free hugs with us here when they started off their Love Trip campaign all across Canada. But in addition to that, we also ran into each other at the OM Festival, which was a conscious festival here in Canada, and the first one that I had been to, and the first one here in Canada that Alon was at too. And that in itself, that was an awesome experience. So I mean, if we want to talk about that a bit, I'm sure we could talk about that. Just what can we report on that happened there that we can bring back to share with this global audience? But that or anything else, man, the microphone is yours. So help me steer this global ship together.
Right on. So, guys, again, thank you for listening. And I just want to say before I'm starting, like every time I say this, Skull, I love you and you're awesome. And everybody should appreciate what you're doing. And that's amazing. Okay, so we'll start off with the OM Festival, which was really, really amazing. Me and Skull met there, and except from the things that we did together, like video and free hugs, and really, really spreading the vibes of love over there. The festival itself was really, really amazing. It had a sense of community all over, even though it was a week. Everybody was helping around the festival. It's a festival which is communal, that all of the participants are participating in making the festivals as well, not just coming in and receiving from the production of the festival, from the production team something, but creating it with the production team. And it was really, really amazing. I had that sense of super synchronicity, as I love to say, in this festival, because most of the people were on the same vibe, on the same frequency of love, and there was a lot of sharing, there was a lot of caring, there was a lot of these synchronicities that people just ran into the right people, and it was really, really fun.
Yeah, for sure, man. There's a lot of stuff that I think was really cool about the OM Festival. One of the ways how I sort of simplify is the idea that it's kind of like an example of a new way of living, this community way of living, where
exactly.
Quite simple, and it's really, well, it's not even new. I think it's actually kind of like more back to the roots of what I think would have been the indigenous and the Aboriginal cultures, where during the day people like worked hard, they shared information, you listened to elders like giving lessons and workshops, and you learned how to use tools and craft things, and you were making food and harvesting things, and then like later in the day and at night you would like go out into the field and you would celebrate, and you would have drum circles, and you would like be like, you would experience really what it was like to live, and you would dance and just like really build community in that way. And then you would just do this like over and over and over again. And that's a little bit of what we got to experience at OM Festival, which ran for 7 days. And those who are curious to check this out, it's up in excuse me, it's up near it's sort of in northern southern Ontario, but you can check it out at omreunionproject.org. But yeah, like both me and Alon, we spent some time working in the kitchen, doing some volunteer work. Alon, I saw you were on like the bike generator for a bit too.
Yeah. It was really nice. Yeah. It's like a sense of even if you're volunteering for a shift to do some of the stuff that there needs to be done at the festival, it's all coming out of love. I mean, there's no one coming there and thinking, oh my God, I need to go to that shift. Oh, I really wanted to party now. There's no such thing. Everybody did what they want all the time. So everybody and everything was made on the love frequency. That means that the food was made with love, and the fire was made with love, and the parties and the giving, the so much giving that was there. And everybody helped each other, and like you said, this communal feeling of a tribe that lives in the forest and parties in the field, and non-stop adventures and fun. Basically, no matter what you do, it's fun. It's not, it's not troubling in any way. And also being in the nature all the time. Most of the people went barefoot, connected to the earth, and they showered in a communal pond that everybody could go to, and it was just this amazing experience that by the end of it, people were like, I can't believe that I'm going back to the city. I mean, how does that even make sense? Everything about this festival, about this way of living, makes so much sense to me. It was so much fun. I enjoyed so much. I developed myself so much. Everybody had like this transformation, the spiritual and physical transformation over there. And by the end, everybody was talking like, how am I going to get back to what I do in the city? I can't believe it. And what I thought by the end of the festival, that these festivals were going to eventually get longer because people would want them to be longer. And, eventually starting up communities just like that, living in nature, and that I think that they will sustain themselves, much like earthships and everything, permaculture and everything like that.
Mhm. Yeah, man. Like there's a lot that I would love to continue talking about OhmFest, and I think we can do that. To spend a few minutes on it. One of the things was the fact that it was a synchronicity playground, is a term that I sort of like to throw around there. But we got another caller who's in the queue, and we're gonna bring them on. So we're gonna bring that caller, and they're calling in from area code 273. Sorry,
yeah,
what's that one?
Maybe Percy. I don't know. Maybe it's Percy, my friend from the festival.
Maybe. We'll see. We're not too sure who this is. We're not sure who this caller is, but we'll see who it is. So it's caller from area code 723, and we're gonna bring them on. So caller from area code 723, if you're ready, gonna bring you onto the air. So click. Hello, caller. Can you hear us?
Hey, Skull. Yes, I can.
All right, caller, what is your name, and what would you like to bring to the show about this conversation we're having?
Well, Skull and Alon, you guys can call me Ray, and I'm just here to listen, and I'd love to interject when my time is right.
All right, for sure. Okay, well, we can definitely do with that, and yeah, like just people who may not be familiar with how this works, that's totally cool. We want to be able to build up the circle here. So, Ray, you're welcome to sit in on the circle, and at any point that you have something to bring up, just feel free to jump in on it. But, Alon, is there more that we want to talk about in terms of Ohm Festival, or do you want to tell people, get right into the news about the big event that you got planned coming up for this weekend?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I want to talk about. And what happened is this morning, I woke up, I had so much inspiration, and the first thing that I did was just straight up from bed, sat on the computer, and open up the event. Some of you may know, some of you don't. I'm from Israel, like Skull said, and we were visiting here in Canada. And you can hear a lot of this negative media and stories that comes from this conflict zone right now. So I thought this is time to create the positive media. This is time, even more than we do all the time, me and you, Skull. It's time to even do more than we did before. And I thought we did about a month ago, this sort of synchronized free hugs festival all over the world. We try to get as many people in places all over the world to do free hugs at the same time. And I woke up this morning with this inspiration and thought, okay, we can do it again. And I got buddies here in Canada, I got buddies in Israel, and all over the world, and we can do this. So I just opened up the event, and lots of synchronicities started to happen. And the idea is to do this communal meetings, let's say, like this street festivals, where people come to the street and they express themselves in a positive way, whether it's any kind of music or dance or art, and while doing free hugs. And the free hug is the act that connects between people, you know, creating this positive vibe. Okay, we can hug. We're not strangers to each other. We can look each other in the eye. We can smile, and just creating this unity of people inside the street and making it in many locations at the same time can create this love wave, this big love wave on the grid of Earth. And right now we have 5 places we are doing with potential to like even more. There's one in Barcelona that wants to join. Maybe Australia will join us. And right now we have 2 places, 2 of my friends in Israel, one in Tel Aviv, one in another northern city that is doing free hugs. Here in Toronto, we're doing in Nathan Phillips Square. Lots of people from the OM Festival are coming. That's going to be awesome. It's going to be a real jam out there. And actually, someone Canadian saw this festival, this event on Facebook, and she said, "It's really fun, you know. It's really a coincidence, let's say, that we are doing kiosks as well at the same spot at the same time that you are doing. What a coincidence." And there's London, you guys, Paradigm Shift London is doing Jeremy. And in Guelph, we got a friend that we met while on the love trip. We met her in Ottawa. We did free hugs in Ottawa. She really liked it. We gave her one of the signs, and she did free hugs in Guelph. And now she wants to do it again with us. So we got this places, and more people want to join in into the party and send a positive vibe and send out to the internet also positive media. Good stuff is happening, good news, and not just people separate in war, but this is like people is uniting. The world is uniting.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, global synchronized free hug event. That's an awesome thing to be able to help get behind. And yeah, like the free hugs thing, it's something that's come up here in the Paradigm Shift Radio conversation often, many times, and it is something that's important to be able to go back to, because I think it's more so than anything, it's about being able to encourage people to do it themselves. So I mean, if we talk about it and then we just stop talking about it because we already talked about it, then that sort of takes away the potential to be able to get more people inspired and to remind them and to motivate them. So yeah, I think the free hugs thing is really just such an amazing thing. But just passing the mic over to our friend Ray. Ray, is there anything else you want to jump into the conversation with?
Yeah, well, at the last Free Hugs Fest we did here in London, it was on Car Free Day. So there was a street that was closed off to cars, and artists and vendors, they all came and shared their stuff. And doing free hugs there, it was fantastic how it caught on. All we did was made up our own signs with cardboard and Sharpie, and we went out. I brought a friend, and it actually grew. People started joining in, and there were smiles and love everywhere, and it really catches in a place where people are going to share. It's in people's heart already, and getting it out there it kind of progresses it. It helps it evolve into something even more, and it really brings out the love in everybody. So the free hugs thing is super easy to do. If anyone wants to get involved in the Free Hug Fest, the synchronized hugs that Alon is putting on, it's super easy. So don't feel like you're not able to do it. If you have that, if you want to, you can, and that's just it.
For sure. Yeah, like I think that's the exciting thing, is that there's a lot of different techniques that you can do with the free hugs thing. Like at this point, just sort of thinking it over in my head, I almost feel like I should put together almost like an instruction how-to manual on different techniques for free hugs. You know, like here's like the top, you know, here's ways to do it. And because there is a preparation that goes into it, and there's a certain level of like, you know, almost like a code within free hugs in order to make it just work more effectively. You know, you don't want, because state the obvious, you don't want to have a free hug sign and be having to like chase people. Like that's not what it's about, right? So the whole thing, that's how free hugs works, is that you're creating that invitation where people can meet you halfway. And then like if someone is coming up and hugging you, that probably means that someone's okay having a conversation with you. And then more so than anything, it's the conversation that happens next that's so important. And just like speaking conversations, I mean, that was what like OM Festival was like all about. It's just like meeting people, giving out free hugs regardless of whether or not you had a sign, and being able to just like spark conversations with people who had, again, their own their own keys, their own pieces of the puzzle. And when you're doing free hugs, you don't know who you're going to run into. Like this weekend was the excuse me, this weekend in London, Ontario was the Sunfest festival. And the way how London's set up, London is a very interesting city. It's actually sort of like a demo product city. This is London, Ontario, Canada. A lot of people don't even realize there's a London, Canada, but there is. And I guess, long story short, like it's actually like called London for a reason, because if London, UK were to ever fall, the idea is that the monarchy and the Queen would like pick up and start again here where this London is. So it's got some very interesting energy to it. But it's this interesting place because if things can happen here, then they can happen anywhere. But anyways. But within this weekend, we had this huge festival, and the way how London's set up, there's a park in the middle of the city, and basically, like, that's where festivals take place. And Alon knows which park this is, Victoria Park. And this weekend, there was a Sunfest festival, and there was thousands of people, literally thousands of people, all walking throughout the park. And for me, I was like, perfect. This is an awesome opportunity to be able to work with synchronicity, to be able to meet people, and to be able to give them free hugs. And the simple way how I do it, this is, again, one of the techniques for free hugs, and this is involving the shift buttons. And, of course, the shift buttons you can order through the main ParadigmCentral.com website/buttons. But it's the whole idea that you stand there with a free hug sign in the shift button folder, like with the shift buttons hidden, and then a person gives you the hug, and then you're just like, here, pick a button, like, congratulations, like, thank you for the hug. And then that button is like a gift to them, but then more so than anything, that button is a portal, a love portal that connects them to the website, to the radio show, to this conversation right here and now, to information, to hope, to the idea that there are other people out there who are interested in talking and learning about the things that we were never taught in school. And in addition, it also invites them to the physical London, Paradigm Shift London community. And of course, there's Paradigm Shift communities all across the globe. And that is like, again, I feel like I've repeated myself, but I feel like I'll just pass it over to Alon. But I know there's just such awesome potential with the free hugs. And this weekend, I met some really amazing people doing it. And yeah, like personally, I do, when I do free hugs, sometimes you can do like this tactic where if you have buttons, you don't have to do the free hugs. So you don't have to show your free hug sign, but you can walk around with buttons and you can pick people out of a crowd and be like, here, I have a gift for you. So sometimes where I've actually like done that with younger people, young adults, so people who are maybe like 15, 16, 17, because I'm just like, if I wonder what I would have done if I had found out about a community like Paradigm Shift London when I was that age, because I was curious about stuff too. So for me, it's just like sort of, like I have that opportunity like right in my hands, and I have like the choice to like be able to say like, hey, this person, like here, have this, like take this. This is an opportunity. This is an invitation to something that could drastically change your life. And the way how it changes your life is that it just like introduces you to other perspectives, and it surrounds you with people who are also interested in like positivity and understand the concept of like surrounding yourself with good people brings out like the goodness in you in a very simple way, and just the sharing of knowledge. And again, like this is all just amazing things that are happening right now within this reality, that are happening to be able to like get people awake and aware. And the London community, the Paradigm Shift London community, based on the work I did this weekend, like I only really put in the free hugs time probably for about like 4 or 5 hours in total, but within that time, like I unplugged, quote unquote, like hundreds of people. And so all those people now know about the London community and are potentially listening to the show and are going to be at the next meeting that we have. And that's where it takes that next step. That's like beyond the radio show. That's beyond the documentation. That's like the real, where this is just like the finger pointing at the moon sort of thing. But yeah, Alon, anything else you just want to jump in with, by all means?
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. We've talked about it on, and I think we can justify, it would be just to talk about it on and on forever, because this is the subject that matters most.
We'll do 24/7 free hugs tactics radio with live updates. We got some huggers reported in downtown Toronto. You can meet them right now on Nathan Phillips Square, 4 p.m. Be there.
Exactly. It would be like an update on Twitter. People would get, oh my God, there's 3 hugs, we gotta go.
Yeah, it's like they're down the street. Go. Yeah.
That's what's going to happen eventually.
I think
when
so.
we did the pre-Love Trip event on Tel Aviv, it was literally a group of people, and we stood in a circle and like, okay, you guys go there, we go there, and take up this sign, and and
techniques, tactics, yeah.
Exactly, and do boys with girls, because that like invites people, and be and stuff like that. But actually, this was planned, right? But what happened in the last free hugs we did on Love Trip, the trip itself, we did it on Montreal, and these were the latest pictures I've put, and everybody's recommended to go now to the page to see, because these are really magical pictures. You could see people from all colors and all nations all coming together, but also not just the people that hug is the picture, but you can see from the sides how people look at this hug. And even we got like a few pictures that follow each other, and you could see like one picture just people hugging, other people looking, and the next picture you can see all of the people are hugging. You know, like people join in and smile because something happened. They're like surprised about it. And if I would share like very basic tips about free hugs is that I've learned during Love Trip is make a lot of signs and just keep them with you, because people are going to join in. And once they see you got more signs than you need, they will ask, like, can I have some? And also, you could give them as a present, and they will remember it for the rest of their lives, for sure. I mean, someone gives them a present, and it's a present of love. You know, it's a simple, like Ray said, it's just that Sharpie on a paper, you know, it's so simple, but it means so much. And another thing I've learned, as long as you keep the simple, you keep it, the better it works. Don't just don't complicate. It's just free hugs, you know. It's just talking to people, and if you come simple, if you come with a pure intention of connecting, and then it happens so good, and people just join in, and suddenly you got artists playing on the street, and you got, you know, and you can create this combination of arts flowing and people connecting, and what do you know, is like one after you started the free hugs, more people are continuing to hug after that. That's the ripple effect, really creating a wave, and that happens almost all the time.
Yeah, it's a good word that comes to mind is it's inevitable sort of thing. You know, if you continue to put yourself out there, the universe will recognize that, and it becomes inevitable, and it starts that love. You know, it just continues to spread. A couple ideas that came to mind. I'll just pass it over to our friend Ray. Ray, do you have anything you want to add to this call? And I will say, sorry, just before we do that, we got some other callers in the queue, and we'll bring them on in the next minute after this point. Caller from area code 952 will bring you onto the air in the next minute. But yes, Ray, if there's anything you want to add.
At Alon, I remember when you were doing your free hugs there, you mentioned eye contact. Like you look into the eyes as you do free hugs with these people, and as you pass by people. And it is keeping it simple, but I found with my own experience, the smile, eye contact. Like you can see the people who you touch. Like even I've had people pass by, they don't want a free hug, and that's fine, but you see kind of a light spark in their eyes as they realize what you're doing and what it means to them.
Yeah.
So I absolutely agree. It's about the simple things like smiles and eye contact.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's like for a big part of me at the festival. Like there was a lot of people who were just at that festival because they were interested in like chilling out, eating food, and walking around and listening to music. And you know, the free hug thing was a little outside of their comfort zone, but it still totally made them like smile. And there was a lot of people who I like made smile. And this is again a free tip. You know, free technique that you guys can use this when you're free hugging is that, you know, when you have that smile on your face and someone walks by and they make that eye contact briefly, you can sort of like give smile back to them, and you can be like, you know, because they'll say, it'll be like free hugs, LOL, and then you'll be like free smiles too, ha ha ha, and then you know, and then there's like, oh, you got me, I'm smiling right now, and like your smile activates their smile. It's like you know, it's like shooting a laser at them. It's so awesome. So, but yes, we'll spend some more time talking about free hugs. But I'd like to hear what some other callers want to bring onto the air. And we got an hour left in the show, and we'll make the most of it. So caller from area code 952 will bring you onto Paradigm Shift Radio, and then we got caller from area code 425 and caller from area code 269, and we'll try and bring you guys on sooner rather than later. So caller from area code 952. Bring you on to Paradigm Shift Radio. Here we go. Hello, caller. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, caller. Caller, what is your name? Where are you calling from? And what would you like to bring to the show?
I am Bryan. I'm calling from Burnsville, Minnesota of the United States. And what I would like to bring to the show is that I was inspired by Ray from her just calling in to listen, and I have also been inspired through you guys' conversation to possibly create a free hugs at the Mall of America down in Minnesota, and if anybody from Minnesota is listening and would like to help coordinate that, I will be making a Facebook page with that or something.
Awesome.
Like that.
Right on, Brian. Well, let me be the first to congratulate you on your initiative, because making that choice is there's a good quote where it says, like, choosing to do something means you're halfway there or something like that. But yeah, making that choice to do it is definitely cool. I will just say, and this is just for you and anyone, generally, again, this would be something within like my book of techniques on how to free hugs and change the world or something, but malls can be a very tricky situation, obviously, because they have their own security. You wouldn't last long in a mall. As soon as the security see you, they're probably just going to have to ask you to leave. That's basic protocol. So you can either A, do it somewhere else, or B, ninja it. And ninja it is something that I've done plenty of times. I was doing it at Sunfest, where you just position yourself with a wall against your back, so you have like a peripheral vision of about 200 degrees, opposed to having, instead of having yourself completely open, so you can see what's to your left, what's to your right, what's in front of you. Keep an eye open for security, and then just sort of go with it and use your intuition, or just do it somewhere on a street corner, somewhere where you wouldn't have to run into the difficulty of having a security person ask you to leave. But Brian, does that make sense? Because I would still encourage you to do it, but just consider other places that you might be able to do it too.
Yes, that makes sense. Thank you for that insight.
For sure. But yeah, because again, I would love to see free hugs at a mall, but I could totally just see it starting off as like, yeah, free hugs. Oh no, police brutality in the United States again, and I'd be like, uh-oh, But again, because it's our job to sort of, seriously. But if you can be a ninja about it, I encourage you to follow your intuition. That's all I can say.
As well, if you're outside of a mall too, then I don't think you're technically,
maybe
you could still be asked to leave, but outside I think you'd be less likely to be bothered. But if there's a busy place like a movie theater where there's lots of traffic and people going in and out, I'm sure that would work pretty well.
Yeah, to be honest, I think doing it in front of a Walmart would actually be pretty interesting, because the worst that would happen is that they would just ask you to leave. That would be the worst that would happen, I would think. But if you're there literally just doing free hugs, because again, there's different techniques in terms of just doing free hugs for the sake of doing free hugs, or you can do free hugs to stand there to talk to people for a really long time, or you can do free hugs to be able to give people a pamphlet for a local Paradigm Shift upcoming event, or even the general pamphlet which connects people with this website, which for people listening, you can find that at paradigmshiftcentral.com/tools. You can find the print file there, cut that up into 4, and all it is just a little small piece of paper that says check out paradigmshiftcentral.com, check out Paradigm Shift Radio, and it gets them synced up with this project and this radio show and all that stuff too. But yeah, so again, if you're just literally, I would say in front of Walmart, you would be best off literally just doing free hugs without handing anything out. And if you want to take the next step, the most important thing is being able to document it when you can. And sometimes that may just mean a couple pictures, because videos can be a little bit more of a challenge. But yeah, if you have someone else with you, then just, I guess, sort of take pictures from a distance or up close when it's safe or whatever. But sorry, I don't want to keep taking away the airtime from you guys. But Brian, if there's anything you just want to mention or anything else that, ideas that come to mind, and any other topics other than free hugs, feel free to help steer the ship.
All right, thank you.
Cool.
None at the moment, though.
All right, cool.
I'd like to congratulate you, man. This is really amazing that this has just happened. This is just what Skull are talking about all the time, me and Skull, and just this ripple creates wave, and this our conversation about this topic, which me and Skull talked about a lot together, is now actually creating this another free hug event somewhere in the world, which is totally amazing. This is love winning right now. So if you want, I can put you on the list of the event that we're doing, and it's a worldwide event, so people could see that more places are joining in the party, and you could invite people from your community to join you through this event if you would like. That would be super amazing. And just speaking about malls, yeah, there might be a situation with security, and I would suggest. I think that it would be much more fun outside, but this is just me. I like to do it outside, but maybe it's too hot. I don't know. So anyway, it could be cool anyway. If you ninja it, man, that's total respect.
Right.
And I've seen videos of ninja. Yeah.
They exist.
Yeah, I mean, there's videos of me doing ninja free hugs and
Yeah,
stuff. There's
exactly,
multiple versions,
yeah.
but
Right, yeah.
I mean, that's what to be honest, I was doing ninja free hug stuff, like, as I mentioned, on the weekend, but I chose not to film it, just because, like, I wanted to just be able to experience the moment, and then knowing that I could obviously just tell you guys about it here on the radio to let you know that it did happen regardless. One other thing I was just going to mention, Alon, this is just sort of brainstorming on your idea of the synchronized hug events. Rather than just focusing it on a single day or a single weekend, it may not be a bad idea to sort of publicize this event as being like, you know, even like free hugs month, starting off with a month or something, and then you can just sort of like encourage or just set it up longer, you know, just create the event so it's not over in a weekend, so you can get people to give themselves enough time to sort of get ready for doing it, because maybe this weekend just might not work, but give them a little bit of time that way, so it just brings more time for people to get connected to the event, and and then eventually just continuing to draw it on, so then it's just like the global free hugs sort of paradigm shift team / thing.
This weekend could be the kickoff.
And this weekend could be the kick.
Yeah,
It would be the kickoff. Yeah, and that's exactly what we were talking about. So yeah, definitely awesome stuff. And again, we can continue to talk about the free hugs, but I'd love to be able to get some more topics on the air to be able to get you guys thinking about other stuff as well, to be able to help give you some more keys and some more puzzle pieces to just, you know, sort of understand our place within this reality, and just how awesome and how much gratitude we should have for our place within it, to be able to play a part within this amazing bigger picture. So, Bryan, I'll just check in with you. Is there anything else that you just wanted to mention? And if not, we'll bring on another caller.
No, not at the moment.
Well,
Cool, man.
Bryan,
Well,
add us on Facebook as well and keep talking to us so we can synchronize these events.
All right, will do.
for sure. And Alon, post your link into the live chat too, but for anybody looking to add Alon, it's facebook.com/Alon Shahrir, and I'll spell that right now. It's ALON.SHARIR. So look that up and you can add Alon. And of course you can add me at facebook.com/SkullBabylon. And I'm sure Ray has a Facebook too, and we'll be able to sort that out. But we'll bring on another caller from area code 425. And Bryan, Ray, and Alon will keep all you guys in the circle as we continue to move things along here. And just out of curiosity for the people who are in the live chat, we have 23 users actively in the live chat. Anybody else listening is welcome to join. But just post your location. I'll just give some shout-outs to people where they're calling in from. It's always interesting to find out where and how global Paradigm Shift Radio is really reaching. So, of course, thank you so much, everybody, for being a part of the show. Still got about 45 minutes left, so we still got time to be able to invite more people to tune in and to be a part of this. So, caller from area code 425, bringing you on to Paradigm Shift Radio. Here we go. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Can you hear us?
Yes. Hi.
Perfect. Caller, what is your name, where are you calling from, and what would you like to bring to the show?
Yes, this is Harmony Fronterhouse, and I'm from Seattle, Washington, in USA. And I just want to add another voice to the shifting paradigm that's happening, and I had a couple things to add to last show's topic about magic, and also you guys are talking about the signs and buttons and kind of like interacting with other people to bring on the shift. And one of the things that I really like to do is when I'm at the grocery store, even if I wasn't necessarily going to purchase something, when they ask you, did you find everything okay? And, often I'll just say, well, there wasn't as much organic produce as I would like, or something along that lines. And you'd be amazed how quick they get organic produce in the store that you say that, or in other, and then other people are listening in the lines, or, it just sparks new conversations about nutrition and about wellness and how it does affect our consciousness level and our ability to carry on conversations with people, and our ability to just be able to function in our day-to-day lives. It's really funny. My children, we were in the grocery store the other day, and all of a sudden, or they asked me about corn, and I said, honey, we can't have that corn because it's not organic. And I said, it's probably GMO too. And all of a sudden they started chanting, no more GMO. No more GMO. And it was really funny, and I didn't tell them to stop because they were actually being productive. And they did it, it was probably 8 minutes before they stopped, and how many lives they affected, and how many people smiled at us. And there was actually a few people that raised their fist and were like, no more GMO with the kids. And, oh my gosh, it was so funny. And people underestimate the power that they have in just their day-to-day little errands that they run, and how much the interaction with those people, the clerks and the people that are asking you things, really makes a difference on what the topics are that you bring up with people, because everyone's going through the shift right now. If you're on the earth right now, you're going through the shift, and you're feeling the crazy energy. You're feeling all of the things that we're trying to release. Everyone's going through it, and we're kind of feeling alone in a lot of ways. And I think knowing that other people are going through the same kind of thing helps us to feel reassured.
Absolutely.
That was basically the part I wanted to talk about with interacting with other people besides the magic. Basically, in my opinion, everyone is doing magic, and everyone is practicing magic. Everything is magic, and that's underestimated. Before there was ever a word of science and a description, it was basically magic. Alchemy was considered magic, and just to any kind of appreciation more than just the mundane was magical. And everything that we think and everything that we do and everything that we are is creating our reality. And so, that's one of the reasons why the elite want us to think that magic is separate from us, is so that, of course they can keep their control, but also so, we aren't able to manifest the things that we want instead we complain or just let people that watch TV and buy into the fact that they have something wrong with them, or, they think that not the fact, but the illusion that they have something wrong with them is, that's basically what is creating their reality. And, by thinking negative thoughts or just judgment upon others, that's creating that reality. And we're realizing that. And I just think it's a beautiful thing that everyone is kind of understanding their own magic and their own God self, their own powers in this paradigm that we're going into in this new age, the golden age.
For sure. There was yesterday when I was at Sunfest, there's a very interesting conversation that I had with one of the people who was working one of the tents there, and it was an eco-friendly clothing tent with hemp clothing, and it was funny because we were just sort of drawn to it naturally, and then we got talking to him, and it turns out he's an Iboga shaman in training who's going back to Costa Rica, and he's worked with Iboga plenty of times, or a few times, and as well as worked with ayahuasca and other plant medicines. But one of the things he just brought up was the idea of just being aware of our six senses, just emphasizing the fact that it's not just being able to just use our five senses, but emphasizing the sixth sense, the intuition, the intelligence of the heart, and the feeling that is internal and things like that, and also that feeling that will draw us towards synchronicity and stuff. And just kind of going back to what you were saying, when you're saying everybody who's on this planet is a part of this shift. For me, I think a big part of this shift, because that's a conversation in itself. When we say it'd probably not be a bad idea to recap what do we mean when we say the shift or a shift in consciousness. One of the simple ways, in addition to just moving from fear to love, it is an awareness. It's an awareness of sort of more than what we've been taught. And one of those things is just being aware of the reality of our sixth sense, if you just want to use that umbrella term, and then being able to connect with it and being able to integrate it into our perception of reality. And one thing that he mentioned was, before you can define anything as being real, or not real, but just before you can decide what your feelings are about anything, check in with at least three of your senses. So that means, to be able to you might be able to, like, if someone's saying something, opposed to just hearing it and being like, oh, okay, of course, that makes sense, you know, like, you hear it, but then maybe you're also looking at them and you're using those senses, and then more so than that, you're feeling it. So I mean, there may be times where you'll be like, hey, that sounds really good, but then check in with what you're feeling. Oh, I don't know, where's that static coming from? I think that it's okay. Okay, stop. Sorry, but or maybe it didn't. I don't know. But anyways, so I was just going to say, you know, like, there may be times where somebody might say something that may sound really cool and really good, and your ears love it and they eat it up, and then oftentimes we'll forego our awareness of the sensation of how it feels, or we may just not be as in tune with it. We may not have that sensitivity of it, and we'll just, like, take it into our perception. Whereas if we're aware of how we feel, you know, we might be able to hear. I'm just thinking of examples like of a politician. You know, they sell you some crap, and then instead of eating the crap, you check in with your heart, with your sixth sense, and you just be like, I don't know about that. You know, like, that doesn't resonate with me. Like, that doesn't sound right. And then from there, it helps you process your perception of the reality. So again, just that's a really cool thing. But we'll just we'll check in with some of the other people in the conversation circle. Bryan or Ray, was there anything you guys want to add, maybe just on the umbrella topic of what it means to go through the shift, so to speak, or anything really?
Well, I think that's absolutely something to keep in mind, and I've been trying to keep it in mind myself. You were kind of saying reacting to things and using our brains and trying to be smart about things, but I also think relying on three senses is also a good way to keep the ego in check. Well, not in check, but before you react to things, even if it's someone says something that makes you angry, instead of you hear what they're saying, but instead of just hearing, also look at them and check in with your heart as well, and your sixth sense. And, well, I guess your heart is your sixth sense. But yeah, so it goes both ways. So even when you have a negative reaction to something, check in with all three, or even more if you can. And really, I guess it's also a way of taking time to react to things. And it's not just like the split-second reaction that we're used to, because we're also used to going fast. And I guess just trying to get through a conversation. But I think using your senses and being aware of all of them is just a really good way to really be in the moment. And it gives us time to react in a more informed way, I suppose, because it's almost like we're informing ourselves. We need to digest things.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, well said. That was a good point. Harmony, was there? I was thinking Bonnie, because I see Bonnie in the live chat. Shout out to Bonnie. And just going back, we got some people who replied to when I was asking where people are. We got people who are in. We got some people in New Jersey. We got some people in Michigan. We got some people in Ottawa. We got some people in the UK. So of course we got all sorts of people from all over the place. So shout out to everyone wherever you are, and presumably some people who may be listening to this off planet. I mean, I presume that's, you know, aliens probably have blog talk and internet access on their UFO spaceships and are orbiting the planet right now listening to this. So shout out to all of our extraterrestrial and quasi-dimensional being friends out there listening to Paradigm Shift Radio.
I don't know,
Feel free to
man.
call in.
They're regular to Sunday, man.
They're regular, yeah. Cool. But again, just either to Bryan or to Alon first, and then if not, then to Harmony, just on anything.
Ray, you were talking about responses, the time that we respond to things. I mean, the starting point of feeling that time of response you have to things that happen to you is obviously take your time and tell always the truth in that situation, like telling, okay, I need some time to think about it. I mean, I'm obviously talking from my perspective of things and how I don't know if to say healed myself from that situation, that I don't know how to respond to situations. But the moment that you take your time and eventually think about stuff, the more you do it, then the faster you actually listen to your heart and answer at the same spot your true answer, not like something that you think about too much. Am I speaking in a way that you understand?
Yes, absolutely.
So what I mean is that eventually all of us, I think, in our journey to purity of consciousness, and being it now always, I think it's always be one with your heart per se, as you are the heart. Like always speak from your heart, and there is no like more maybe like dimensions of self bullshit per se. Like think about fears and thoughts and things like that. You just say what your heart feels at the same time, and it will always be true, and it will always cause a positive result, even if it's a situation you used to think about that, oh, if I'll say that, this person will get hurt and stuff like that. In my journey, I understood that if I'm telling the truth all the time, people won't get hurt in the way that I would say, like a white lie or something like that, or I'm thinking they will get hurt. I was surprised most of the time when I told the truth that the resolution was much more easier and comfortable.
Yeah.
When I was real with myself and others.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big part of the shift, too, is being honest with ourselves, you know, and just checking in and asking the questions. Totally. Bryan, was there anything else you want to add in on this?
Yeah, I wanted to comment on what Ray said about giving yourself some more time with finding your three other senses. Also, taking 3 good breaths that are focused and that you're aware of them helps slow you down, helps you think, and helps you become more centered than if you were to react to whatever just happened.
Absolutely.
Sure. Yeah.
There's a quote that I like. It's quite simple. I forget who said it, but if you're angry, take 10 breaths before you say anything, and if you're very angry, 100. Oh wait, no, it was counting to 10. But you know what? You could do 100 breaths too. I'm sure that would calm you down.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. For sure, yeah. And again, you know, even just with that, asking, like, why do we take those breaths? And I think the very simple answer is that breath can sort of bring us back to that place of stillness. And within that place of stillness, that's where we get clarity. And that's where we sort of resolve anxiousness and, you know, just expediency. And we just like, well, hold on, you know, like there isn't a rush here. Let's just check in and double check and make sure that the decisions and the choices that we're making reflect like our honest integrity, so to speak. So yeah, something along those lines. But or I was going to throw it over to Harmony actually. Harmony, do you want to just add in on this about the shift?
Yeah, I definitely agree with everything that you guys are saying. The ego is a very powerful thing, and when we don't balance it with our authentic self, I think that it has the potential to kind of mislead us. And I think that's one thing that a lot of people kind of confuse sometimes is when we're identifying the self, is are we really talking about what our ego wants, or are we talking about what our true authentic self would prefer to happen, you know? And I think that happens when we integrate the mind and the heart, and like you were saying, more than just 1 or 2 senses in order to base our perception on experience. I think that, I don't know if you've ever spoken about this before on your show, but the documentary, What the Bleep Do We Know? And there's a second one called Further Down the Rabbit Hole, or Down the Rabbit Hole or something like that. And it talks about how in quantum theory the perception is really determines the outcome of the reaction of the wave function, or whether or not it's an actual molecule or a wave. And it, you know, that happens with whether or not we are, you know, perceiving something to be hurting us or good or bad. And it's like, I was just talking to my kids about the story Peter Rabbit, and how amazing it is that it shows both perspectives about how the rabbit thinks that Mr. McGregor's bad, and then Mr. McGregor thinks that the rabbit's bad, but neither one of them are really bad. They're just doing, you know, the gardener's trying to keep his crop, and the rabbit's trying to have some food, you know, and, you know, it's just, it kind of shows that perspective that, you know, it can be viewed from many different points. And I think that that's what our authentic self tries to do more, is view things from the standpoint of others instead of just the ego. I also have like a little bit of a a theory on why we kind of second guess ourselves so much in our intuition, and I think that's because that we've been lied to so much in the world, like just the basic Christopher Columbus discovered America. I mean, there were already people here. How did he discover America? That just doesn't make sense. So we're, we're skeptic. And so, we have certain, our ego especially has certain untrustworthy ways when it comes to hearing new information. And when new information is coming in, I think sometimes you can hear it over and over from the same person, but until you get the second or third or fourth source come into play, and it actually is more relating to who you are or like who you respect or that kind of thing, it has to be an individual experience. And I think once that happens, which is happening all over the place with people that I've been, explaining things to for quite a long time, and they're like, oh yeah, this person said this and that, and I'm like, okay, so this is a phenomenon, because there are a lot of people that are like finally hearing their second and third sources and figuring it out. And sometimes people die before they can figure it out. And my father died from cancer, and he didn't ever listen to the second and third sources until the end, and that was too late. So it's important to, like you said, be in the moment and really just feel it with your heart and your mind, and just assess the situation for what it is and how it makes you feel, all of your senses and all of your chakras, and even just like check in with your guides, your angels, or your higher self, or however you view that, your inner self, your inner heart, your just check in with that extra help that you have, because everyone has it. It's just waiting to be tapped,
Yeah,
and
awesome.
And mindfulness was the other thing that I wanted to address. I think his name's Thich Nhat Hanh. He speaks of his theory of mindfulness, and I think he has like 5 different theories of mindfulness, and it's really just beautifully written. The first time I read it, I was at a retreat. I was actually staying at a spiritual retreat that was out in Mount Shasta, and we were going to the Star Knowledge Conference for the first time at the Stewart Springs, and it was just an amazing thing that the person had there in the place that we stayed. And she had it copied and laminated and put in the bathroom, and I was just like, wow, this is so beautiful. This resonates with my beliefs my whole life. And so I asked her for a copy when we left, and she gave me a copy, and I laminated it, put it in my bathroom so people can see it. But I really, if people haven't heard of that, I would advise them to look into it. It's just an amazing, you could probably Google or Bing or whatever, mindfulness and Thich Nhat Hanh. I think it's TICHNAHTHAN. I want to.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
But yeah, it's beautiful. So that's my addition for that part. I really just find you guys just wonderful. It's just wonderful to talk to you.
Perfect. No, thank you so much, Harmony. And do you have some music playing in the background? Do I hear that, like a little something?
I'm outside. It's wind chimes.
Those are wind chimes, because they sound like music. Like it sounds
toned,
like
it's tuned wind chime. Yeah.
So it's like playing a song as it spins, sort of thing, or something. Or
isn't that beautiful? Yeah, it's tuned to like E or D or
like a music box.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
See?
That's cool.
I think it's really loud.
Very cool. Yeah. I like what you were saying.
It's our meditation music, the ambiance.
Yeah. That's like having. I got like a little electrical water fountain out in my backyard, and I love just sitting out there and listening to that too. Like ambient music is such a simple thing to relax the mind and use as a tool, but so many different things that we can do within this shift to help sort of tap into our resources and to be able to help make the most of this opportunity. And like you said, those resources include being able to like use our guides, and I mean that's a whole conversation in itself. That a very simple way, it could just mean like asking or like giving permission or just being aware that we're not in this alone, that in the same way you can zoom in on a super microbiotic level and see things working out there and every cell's doing its part and we're here at this level, then there's like other entities and cells like working on higher levels that are still helping the ebb and flow of things and move along and stuff. I mean, still I don't want to go too far down that path. Microcosm, exactly. But what you were talking about with the multiple sources, I think that's really key, and that's where like more and more people are starting to go through that shift. Is that maybe it was a while ago where somebody mentioned something about like the chakras or something, and then they were just like, oh, okay, like maybe that makes sense, but I don't know. And then it's not till their aunt or their uncle brings it up, or some close friend brings it up again, and they're just like, well, why is this person so interested in it? Is there something to it? And then that's where it sort of provokes them or gives them the opportunity to start looking into it some more. But I think you're right. Like, that's a good point to make, is that I think more and more people are beginning to get exposed to their second and third sources of shifty knowledge, and a lot of that is happening online, obviously, and just through conversations and through you guys doing things and bringing up those conversations. Like Harmony was saying, mentioning the organics at the checkout for grocery store. I think that's a simple and effective way, or talking to your friend about lucid dreaming on the bus, or things like that. Just sort of be mindful of what we can do. So there's a lot of stuff I would love to continue talking about, but we got a couple guests who I'm going to try and bring on. We got 3 more people, and we're going to see if we can get all of them on. And that's caller from area code 269, caller from area code 407, and also Bonnie, who is in the queue. And actually, Bonnie will be on second out of those 3. And we'll go with that. So caller from area code 269, we're going to bring you onto the air, and we'll just continue to go, and I'll give another pass with the talking stick around, and hopefully everybody will get another chance to just add their voice to this conversation. And thank you so much. And of course, there's other stuff I can mention about the shift buttons, but I'm not going to get into it. But those of you who are familiar with the shift buttons, you can order those through the main website, send your name and information, or just let us know through facebook.com/ParadigmShiftRadio if you want to be entered into the button draw, and we'll get to that later in the show. But for now, let's bring on a caller from area code 269 on Paradigm Shift Radio. So here we go. Hello, caller.
Hello there. Is it me?
Yes. You're on the internet, caller.
Yes.
Welcome.
Okay. Yes. My name is Jared Zachary. I'm from Michigan, and I just wanted to start out sort of just to highlight some of the beautiful topics that some people had mentioned. The previous callers, especially, like the organic idea, from when the people at the clerks ask you, did you have difficulty finding anything? I think that's just such a beautiful idea that I would love to incorporate in my individual movement, as that's just an interesting perspective to add to to our daily lives, really. And also, and someone else had mentioned moving from a place of the heart. That also really resonated for me. That was another previous caller, as far as I know. But before I start talking about a topic that I'd really like to bring in, I just kind of wanted to make I know I'm a guest, but a shout out to Brendon for doing such a good job with his movement, because I think, you're just doing such a great job doing everything that you're doing, the Paradigm Shift Radio, really staying consistent with everything. So definitely shout out to you. Well done.
Thanks, dude. We're doing it together, man. As Matthew Silver would say, listen to your heart, because you are special.
Exactly. Yeah. And remember, we're doing it together. Yes.
We're doing it together. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that's really great. The free hug, that's definitely a big thing. You guys were talking about that a little bit, and I myself haven't found that to resonate with me. I understand hugs are fantastic, but I'm personally not a real big social bug, and often don't reach out to random people just by speaking to them or in that nature. But to kind of go with that idea, I know there's been a quote of to help awaken or to shift everybody's others' paradigm, really, is to awaken yourself completely, or as much as you possibly could ever, just awaken yourself completely, And so within that, my personal movement, something that I found within my daily life, I separated myself for a while from social aspects. Most of the time, I rejected society at one point. That was a bad idea. But something I'll say about it is I really took a time of shifting my paradigm from the past thing, because I was very deep into the paradigm, the matrix, as some would call. But I've experienced its own movement. I've shifted my paradigm. So even when I walk down the street, I noticed just smiling in just such a genuine way, or just being my very self, helps shift others' paradigms just by my very being. You know, just being myself from a completely open, awakened point, and people, you can see it in their face versus times from before. They just are like, something was different. You know, it was like from being from a place, from your being, which is as I would call the heart. You know, and just a little bit more on that. It's something that I thought we call ourselves human beings. Well, I kind of see it as we have a human part of us and we have a being part of us. We're very much human, and I kind of call that more so the mind or whatever. And the being, sort of, our being is of our heart. So we have that mind and we have that heart. So we have to be that human, but also our being, and just kind of coming to the place of a genuine heart resonance, and just really utilizing that being that so many have ignored. And once you do that, people feel that love, that genuine care, you know, of just being yourself. And it's just being a complete, honest, you could say, soul, just an awakened or aware, even, as some even mentioned within this chat. It's just making yourself aware of as many things as possible of this reality, of this paradigm, and people sense it. Like, it's not only, they don't only see it, but they just feel it from a place of being. And it helps shift that paradigm. It's just another of those just hacks of the Matrix, if you will. So.
I just want to tell you, man.
Go ahead.
You are very, very amazing. And your words that you just said are very amazing and are all true. And I would suggest, because I have been doing, well, everybody actually, you know, have been doing this inside paradigm shift that changes naturally everything with no effort or doing anything physically. But that inner change creates this vibe of vibrating the whole universe which you created. That's always amazing. And I would suggest, and believe me, I'm very aware of my words, that you would go and do free hugs, because you don't need to do, you can do lots of free hug types. Like Skull said, we can write a book about it. We can talk about it 24/7. But the way I started, or maybe a lot of people are doing it for a long time, is just standing with the sign without speaking a word, and just like smiling at people, and even holding it in the side creates ripples, which can create wave. And I've seen people that would not think that they would do free hugs, but the moment they did, because they said like they're not socially active a lot, but because they did and they saw how easy it is to become friends with people, so easy. I think you would love it a lot, and everything that you said is just naturally created in a world where you offer yourself just with a simple sign, and you don't need to speak a word. Believe me, a lot of people don't speak when they do free hugs, and it's still very, very amazing at that feeling, that sense of I am appreciated, I am loved, and I can love, and I can do it even more right and shine even more. I think that's really amazing.
Yeah, for sure. And I just got to keep things in check. We only got 15 minutes left on the show. And thank you, Alon. Thank you, everyone, Jared and everyone, for calling in and sharing what they have to share. Yes, very, very important things. We're all reflective lenses. And, no, it's good to be able to hear these things. I had a couple things I wanted to mention, but before I do that, there's something that Alon just sort of triggered as well, and that was the idea of communication without language, and sort of bringing it back to that. You know, language is this thing that's only been around for the last, couple thousand years as a human species, and before that, it was like we were more in that animal sense, and we weren't using verbal communication in the same way. So it's a very interesting question to sort of put forward, is the idea of how else does language exist beyond verbal communication, or just that topic in general. I'm just fascinated by. I don't know if anybody, Ray or Bryan or anyone, just want to hit upon that real quick and just more ways that we can sort of be aware as to how much we're communicating all the time, regardless of whether or not we're actually saying anything. And shout out to Bonnie, we'll bring her on in a second too, but just putting that out there. So.
Well, honestly, that's one thing that's completely blown my mind recently, and I can't seem to get a handle on it. So I'd just love to hear what anyone has to say on this topic.
So, Bryan or Jared?
Well, personally for me, I'm extremely interested in the concept of communication and the different ways that we do it. One that I've noticed recently is that people react to other people just by seeing them, and they adapt, or should I say adapt? They connect with their everybody else's emotions that they see or that they can feel because of their auras or whatever, and it brings everybody a little bit closer to whatever anybody's feeling at that moment. And doing the free hugs thing, I honestly think it brings up the vibration and brings everybody much higher in resonance and stuff, and just helps spread the love.
For sure, yeah, man. Yeah. Sorry, guys, I don't want to cut you guys off. I just want to make sure we still got a couple more callers, and if you guys, and I will say, just anything that doesn't get talked about here, there's always the after party hangout, which will be happening after the show, and you can find a link for that facebook.com/ParadigmShiftRadio, and that's a Google Hangout video thing, so it's a continuation of the conversation. Anyone can get involved with that in the same way anybody can get involved with this episode. One thing I was just going to say real quick, and I apologize, I don't want to feel like I'm hijacking the mic, but somebody asked me this yesterday in terms of like all this shifty stuff. Why do we do it? Why do we do it? One of the things that simplifies my reason behind doing it is that through my observations, I see a lot of apathy in this world. I see a lot of suffering. And through my own experiences of having been opened up to knowledge and also experiences about my place within this reality, about concepts of unity, about the Buddhist perspective of seeing the suffering in others as the suffering of your own, it helps motivate me to be able to help give people the awareness of hope, and to be able to tell them and say, like, there are people out there trying to change the world. You can change yourself too, and to be able to just like give them new opportunities to explore their own path within their life that will evidently lead them towards like inner balance, grace, harmony, and a greater appreciation for life as a whole. Because I see life as a beautiful adventure in every single step, and I want everybody to be able to see it from their own perspective in that way where they can appreciate it in every moment. I think it's a sad fact that we have people who say, oh, I had a bad day today, sort of thing, or when we have young children who say, or mothers who would say that about their children, be like, oh, he's just having a bad day, how should that happen? I think that's more of a cultural thing, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to rebirth this whole system from within by, just changing, again, shifting our paradigm. But again, no, I apologize. I don't want to take the time from you guys, but we'll bring on Bonnie, and we'll continue. We only got 11 left on the clock, literally, as it is. So we'll bring on Bonnie, and we'll just continue the conversation from there. So Bonnie, if you're ready, bring you on the Paradigm Shift Radio. Here we go.
Hi.
Hey, Bonnie. Welcome back.
Hey. Sweet. Nice to be here. Okay, I'll go quick because I know we're running out of time. There's several things that came up while we were talking, but here, let's start with this. When we were talking about ways of dealing with the shift, I think for me personally, and what I found with the people that I work with, is the importance of just finding whatever portal it is that you need to use to plug into yourself. And so that comes from so many different modalities of healing. And me as an energy worker, I use like several different things. And I kind of have to do a combination like between daily meditation, Qigong, Reiki, and then just like breathing. There's so many different yoga. There's so many music also, dancing. There's just so many different ways, and I feel like they're all just different portals that we. So part of like hacking the matrix, like we like to talk about here, is really finding those portals. And I think that it's when I let those portals go that's when I can't handle the shift anymore. That's when I'm like, I just want to, you know, retreat to my room and disappear. Like, when we need, like, all of these, like, different modalities. So I guess what I'm trying to say is if you're someone who's struggling, you know, just remember there's so many different holistic healing techniques out there, and we live in a time right now where we can use any of them at any time. It's not like back in the day where you were more confined to maybe certain religious practices and stuff. You can mix and match all of them, you know?
That's right. Yeah, just a simple way I think about it, you know, the different ways that we can tune our instrument in that sense, and then, you know, play as beautiful music as possible. But yeah, you're right. That's a huge part of it, is just being able to, you know, keep ourselves in a place where we'll be able to be the best version of ourselves that we can be, and just working towards that and little steps along the way.
The communication without language, it seems like when I do these sort of things, when I at least do my daily meditation, that it's like I communicate with people without having to talk to them. And on days that I don't meditate, like, it doesn't seem to flow like that. But on days that I do meditate, like, I just, you know, end up somewhere and people start talking to me, or like something happens and people are like, you just know what I'm saying and you didn't even say anything. And I'm like, it's just, you know, it's
accidentally psychic. Yeah.
Yeah, but I haven't always been known as like a psychic or anything. You know, it's something that I developed over the period of time of practicing meditation and realizing that doing that is opening portals for people to be able to communicate with me and using other senses, you know. So I really do think meditation is the key. And by the way, if anybody wants to meditate with me tomorrow night, Google Hangouts, we'll be there, 8:30.
Yes. Check out Bonnie's stuff. Maybe send me a link for that, Bonnie. I'll repost it through Paradigm Shift Radio for Bonnie. Bonnie's she's been putting out a lot of good information about meditation and been doing Google Hangouts with group meditations that she's been guiding. So thank you, Bonnie, for doing that. Bonnie, do you want to just what's your quick contact info, or like?
You can find me on Facebook. I'm just Bonnie LeBaron. Bonnie, LeBaron is LeBaron. Also on Google Plus, where we do the same thing, Bonnie LeBaron, where we do the Google Hangouts. But you can find it all through my Facebook. I'm working on a website now, so that'll launch in a few weeks here.
That's awesome. Very cool. We'll be happy to support that. Thanks again, Bonnie. So I just feel it's like let's talk as fast as we can, really, really quick, because we only got a little bit of time. But I just want to pass the mic around. We do have, I believe, AJ's in the queue, and we can bring him on in the next minute. But just putting the microphone, putting the talking stick around the circle for anybody, maybe people who we haven't heard from in a bit, Bryan, Alon, or anyone. Yo,
I'm here, and I just want to say that everything that people say here is amazing. If I can add a little bit about the topic, there was a topic about labeling on the chat, and it came up, and I just want to say, like, from my perspective, there are really no labels at all. Every label is just an illusion. I'll tell you why. You can't label anything because everything is special in itself. Even if you take, and I'm having a bowl of grapes right now, every grape is different from another grape. You can say, like, okay, this is the same color, but even if you say humans, you know, every human in itself is special. There will be no human just like this one, with this type of blood, with this type of fingerprint, but in much way in this type of frequency and that type of gifts to give to the world and that type of skill. And so labeling is just like something that is not like you can give it up because you know everything is special by itself. Then talking about generalization is just not like relevant anymore, and you can just see everything is really, really special, even this moment. And that's it. That's what I want to say.
Cool. Thanks, Alon. Anybody else? Just putting.
I wanted to add about. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Right.
I just wanted to add about what she was talking about and about telepathy and communication without language. I really feel that we all have that potential for, you know, going back to our inner abilities to communicate without any language and even without body language, because body language is really important as well. And I think that all boils down to our DNA and chakra activation. As we move up through the higher frequencies, we start to activate certain potentials that we have that have been suppressed. And through raising my children, I've really found it really interesting that they communicate a lot without language. And of course, before they even learn how to speak, they communicate everything without language. And then now that they know how to talk, I can still find them sometimes just looking at me, and they just look at me and go, "Mom," and they look over at something, and then they look back, and then they go, and I go, "Okay, I understand you're trying to communicate telepathically, and I understand what you're saying, but we are learning how to communicate." And so then I have to be like, "So can you say please?" And so it's kind of funny sometimes because they have that potential, and in a society where we're learning to interact with other people, we sometimes suppress that. And I think it's important to involve games and certain things where you are bringing that into your paradigm, and like certain things where you're playing guessing games about colors, or they guess who's calling on the phone all the time. And also I wanted to add about sometimes we ask people to do something, or like you're telling your kids, "Could you please put your shoes by the door?" And they'll retaliate sometimes if it's not their choice, or if you make a choice, they'll do it more often. But if you just think it, sometimes they'll just go and put their shoes by the door, and it's like, wow, the power of just thinking something without saying it is really just amazing. How much because the thought form goes in the air, and then it goes and they think it's their own thought form, and that was just something I've seen a pattern, and it's really amazing, and I find it very fascinating. I just wanted to add that, and I know you're running out of time, so that's all I have to say.
Yeah, that's a very interesting idea. I almost imagine thought forms sort of like when you take food coloring and you sort of drop it in water and you see the cloud of food coloring sort of concentrated, but then it disperses. That's almost what our intentions sort of do when we put them into the water of the energy around us. Kind of interesting visual there. So very cool, very cool. All right, so we only got 3 minutes left in the show. I don't really know if we'll have time to bring AJ on, but we'll pass the mic over to, I believe it was Bryan or Jared, who's gonna make a point there, and then I'll do a quick button draw in the meantime, and we'll get things sorted out. So Bryan or Jared, something to say?
Yeah, I was just going to start talking. It was just a little bit about the labeling system. And just what I was going to say about that is sort of what Einstein had brought up, was that with the labeling system, it seems that it's all relative. It's only relative to what it is you're talking about. So basically, if you zoom out on the biggest picture, nothing can be compared, and it's just so interesting because everything is so individual. And also, just to jump to the topic from before, mentioned about the words and how there's nonverbal communication. I've kind of viewed those as more words in themselves seem to be references to the ideas that we're really are trying to get across, but also they seem to be a conduit or a vessel to of really sort of what Tesla had mentioned, Nikola Tesla, about if you want to understand the universe better, think in terms energy, vibration, and frequency. It seems to be just like a conduit and a vessel of just those frequencies, those energies, and that's why we're really communicating. We're hardly talking because of the words, it seems, or that's just sort of how it might seem. It's just they are there to be able to make that frequency, to send that energy for others to pick up and say, "Oh yes, I do understand." You hardly have to say anything. You can just sort of say a couple of words, make a couple of sounds, and move in a certain way, and I kind of know what you're talking about.
For sure. Right on, man. Awesome. Well, thank you so much to everybody who has added their voice to the conversation tonight, including all the people in the live chat. And just reminding you guys once again that Paradigm Shift Radio is a show that requires the community's assistance in order to help be able to get it out there. We're not super, super duper viral with, 500 shares every time we post up an episode, which can obviously be influenced by you guys sharing the show. So if you enjoy Paradigm Shift Radio, share this episode, share the past episodes, check out all of that and more at ParadigmShiftCentral.com, and of course like the Facebook page, Facebook.com/ParadigmShiftRadio. And I'm just going to do a quick button draw already really quick, so just doing that and then wrapping up the show. So quick button draw real quick. So drum roll, Synchronicity has chosen this week's winners as Oh snap, AJ. Oh,
Yay!
AJ called that one. So AJ gets his buttons. I'm pretty sure he just manifested that inadvertently. So congratulations, good job, team. 15 seconds left on the clock. We'll be doing the after party hangout. Please donate to help support the community. Sign up for that, ParadigmShiftCentral.com/donate. A couple dollars a month. It goes a long way. Future of Conscious Media. Outro music playing now. Everybody join me in saying goodbye. So say goodbye to the internet, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, internet.
Nice to meet you.
On love. All right. Thanks again, team. We're doing this together.
Together, yes.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Beautiful.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Paradigm Shift Radio. If you would like to connect with people where you are and continue the conversations further, then check out ParadigmShiftCentral.com/buttons to order your supply of shift buttons to share with people to help invite them to this global project while also helping make new friends and building local community where you are. Shift buttons are tools to hack the matrix and tap into the synchronistic nature of reality to accelerate our collective awakening. Enter the promo code PSR into your order to receive additional bonus buttons to your supply. Thank you again, and one love.